Hello everyone. So in today's video, we are going to be building a data card using only Tailwind CSS. My server is running and I have my browser looking like this already. So we are going to be building something that looks just like this with an image and these various texts styled in a very similar manner to this. The first thing we must do every time we're trying to build something like this is to add all our elements before we begin to style. So I'm going to add my image here first. So in my main elements, I'm going to return a div. So this div is going to initially have two children. The first will be the image up here, and the second will be these other text. So to create the image, we use the image element from next, which has already been imported. The image element from next. That's imported at line 2 here. Now the image element accepts up to 4 different properties. The first is the src, pointing to the location of the image. And just as React works, every of our assets or resources must come from the public folder. So in my public folder, I have a file called location.jpg, location rather, and that's what I'm going to be using as my image here. So I just pass in my double quotes and the /, then call the location.jpg alongside the extension. And after passing the src prop, we then go ahead to pass in the alt. That's the alternate text that will be displayed whenever this location is not found. So in here, I just pass in body lotion, just like that. And after passing that in, we can now pass in the width property as well. The width property is going to be a number. Now, the higher the number, the larger our image is going to appear. So width of 500, height of 500. After doing this, we can then go ahead to add all our class names. By doing that, we have access to this now on our browser, which is the image. So having been able to add this image, the next thing we'll do is pass this other text, and I'll put all these inside a div element. So I'll create another div element to hold each of these. So this first text will be a H1 element that says perfect and radiant even tone as H1 element. Then another H1 element for the price. So I'll just use the N for the Naira sign. Just like that. Then another possibly P elements for this 8,450. That's the old price. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to wrap these two P elements in a new div, just like this, so that they stay in their own div. Then a span element that says minus 20%. Okay. Then another P element that says you save 1,690. Just like that. Now having added all of them, let's get styling. So the first thing I want us to do is, let's find a way to ensure that we curb the width of this image. And here's how I will do just that. On the main element, I'm going to section them using grid. So class name, grid. Just so I can say grid calls of 5, for instance. Thereby keeping this in 1 out of 5. So on the same main element, I'd pass in padding of 5, just so it does not touch the edge of the screen. Then, on the div that is holding the image and everything else, I would just give a class name, space on the y-axis of 3, just so there's a little space between the image and the text. So after doing that, I would then come and style the h1 element. And in order to do that, I'd give it a class name. This text is going to be XL, and the font is going to be semi-bold, like that. So we have it looking this way. So after that, we'll then work on this div element that has these two text. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flex it. So flex items to the center. Then in order to keep them apart, I'll just do a justify between, just so that I have one of them here and the other at the other end of the screen. Now I'm going to add a little padding on this div element here. So padding of 3. Now after doing that, my first p element that's pointing to the current price, I'm going to make it bold and large. So that will be text 2XL, and font be set to bold. Then I have this. Now this other p element, it's going to have a class name, text SM. And I'm going to keep the text gray. So text gray 600. Line through, just for that effect. After doing that, let's then talk about the minus 20%. There's a span element. So what I'm going to do here is this span element, I would give it a background color of red of 500. Background color red. Let's keep that red 100, and then let's give the text red as well 600, so that I can give it padding of 2 and rounded MD to curve the edges. It then gives me something like that. So my text looks a little large, so we're going to fix that. Then the text is going to be small. So that's it, just like that. Then let's talk about this you save. So this you save is now going to be color green. So let's give it a class name. So text green 600. And that font looks like a semi-bold, so font semi-bold. Now in this div that is holding each of these, I'm going to pass in space, so we have them spaced apart evenly. So this div elements class, okay, class here, class name, space on the y-axis of 2. Then on this p element again, because there seems to be added space, margin top of 1, just so I have something that looks like this. Then the space of 2 does not seem to be enough, so I'm going to double that and make it 4, and that's it. So all I then need to do is give this div element a shadow MD, just so I can view the data card. And with that, we've been able to build a data card using just Tailwind CSS. So once again, we start by adding all the elements before we get styling. And that's how we can build a data card with Tailwind CSS.